Hey everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee.
And I'm Joey Evans.
Today we're taking a look at two of Allplay's Tiny Box games. Here are the ones that we haven't covered. Well, one Tiny Box game and one Tiny Box, large box, big box edition.
Tiny-ish box.
Do you remember when Allplay used to be a company of backbone and character? They had two box sizes.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they're at. This is number 4, and they're introducing number 5.
Doesn't make any sense.
Used to be a proper company. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Allplay.
Know that going in.
Yeah, they are a sponsor of the channel, but we're going to give you our thoughts on these games. Just give you the heads up about that. So let's go ahead and take a look at how Tearable Quest plays, and then we'll give you our thoughts. In Tearable Quest, you are literally tearing up paper to try to meet scoring conditions. You can play on the easy map or the harder map. What makes this map harder? Items are closer together. It is harder to see through to the other side because there are some treasure chests and coins on the back, and it's also thicker paper. So, starting with the Manic Meadows here, what we're going to do is we would set a timer for 2 minutes, and then we would hit start, at which point all players are going to start tearing up shreds of their paper, trying to meet certain conditions for the round. There's a boss that you can pick from amongst multiple here, and that boss is going to be active scoring for all 3 rounds of the game. And there will be a different monster that you'll score for each round of the game. So in the first round here, we're looking for slimes. Our goal is to try to tear out pieces of paper that have one of these magic burning books here, or these magic fireball books, and 1 or 2 or 3 slimes, and we'll get more points if we have a piece of paper that has only a fireball magic spell book and 1 or 2 or 3 slimes, as well as we can tear out as many bosses as we want. We would hit the timer and go. We would all start to tear at the same time. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Why am I filming this? Now, if you were to accidentally get any other icon partially or complete in your tear here, like I almost did with that boss, then it will negate the score of that piece of paper. The other thing you'll notice is that there are symbols on the back. If you get a treasure chest in the piece of paper that you tear out, that'll add 2 bonus points. Each coin is going to add 1 bonus point. And then each of those ghosts or these phantoms is going to give you -2 points. So I might want to try to get rid of that before I score this piece of paper. You can also not include anything else in your tear of paper, including positive symbols like weapons that you'll need to defeat later enemies like axes for these skeletons. So as I tear this out, I'm going to try to tear this part out, and I'm also going to try to avoid having any of that phantom in the back there. Also, while avoiding ripping my ghost icon, my slime icons, because I would like to not lose those. The rulebook recommends 2 minutes per round, and I have found that that is far too short. I am also vamping and explaining lots of things right now, but that is still difficult to do. At the end of the timer, the 2 minutes in the recommended rules, and I suggest personally a little bit longer, you're going to check to see how well you did. So for each spell book and the number of slimes in it, you can get 1 through 5 points. I got 5 from this one and no negatives on the back. On this one, I got the boss with 3 different weapons and the boss isolated, as well as having a coin here on the back, so I would get a bonus extra point for that. So I would get 6 plus 1, and then I would get 5 here. So I would track that I got 12 points for the round, and we'd play 3 rounds. The remaining sheet that you have left is what you'll go into for the next round. So this time I'm looking for axes to take out skeletons, 1, 2, or 3 of those. Now, as another game little mode that you can throw in, you can also throw in a bonus card each round, which gives players something extra to aim for, something to compete over. But there you go. That's the idea of Tearable Quest. So this game, I don't think that anyone's first impression about whether they will like this game or not is going to be wrong.
That's probably the best way to describe it. There are so many times you go into a game and you're surprised. You won't be.
I don't think so with this one. I think the people who look at this go, oh my gosh, what a fun, quirky, zany, silly idea. I bet I'll have fun with that. You probably will. Or if you look at it and you go, I don't know if that's going to be that fun, you probably won't have that much fun.
Right.
Well, yeah. I guess what was your impression?
Positives, it's quick. Go ahead. No, it's one of those things that it feels more like an arts or craft activity to me. As I was tearing and things, and there's something about tearing that some people enjoy that activity and some people do not. And I am under the umbrella that I do not. I'm going through and I'm tearing it through, and it's funny how the whole timed thing doesn't bother me, but if it's timed doing something I enjoy, then I think it's more enjoyable. This one I'm timed and I just don't enjoy it. Like I found myself like cutting off part of the monster. I'm like, don't really care. It's just like because it really, tearing does take some skill. It's like because the threads of the paper, they go different directions, whatever. I understand that, but I understand it's not an activity that I enjoy at all.
Yeah, I would. Well, let me ask you this, right? How many scrapbooks a week do you average?
0.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm in that same boat, so I think that we're going to have kind of the same opinion. Do you like tearing things? I don't particularly, and that's the thing. It feels a little bit more like crafting, like doing those little like arts and crafts projects, which is fine. I think that the game has the right number of rules for what you're doing. There's like a little bit more to consider than you think going into it. I think it's funny that the paper's backside and front side. I think it's funny that there's a hard mode in which the paper is printed darker, so it's harder to see the backside. Like you can't like hold it up to the light and see through it, and it's thicker.
Yes.
That is the funniest way to describe the harder mode of a game, but I don't particularly like the game.
No. Yeah. And I didn't realize how like there's a game called Clip Cut Parks or something, I think, where you cut. I enjoy cutting, still enjoy cutting a lot more than tearing. This is like taking that down.
Yeah. Score, what would you give this one?
I'm going down to 5 on this. It is an activity. Like I said, it's just something, it's 10 minutes. That's the best thing to do. And it fills that gap. You have 10 minutes. You're like, hey, do you want to do this? It's fine. I probably wouldn't do it again, but if people at my table are doing it, I'll watch. So that's just really, whether you're going to like it or not.
I'm also giving this one a 5. I wish I liked it more because it's a funny idea, but actually just doing it, I don't find myself enjoying it a lot. Though I've played this with people who are like, oh, this is really fun.
Right.
This is really silly. Cool, right? I think that your first impression is probably going to be accurate on this one.
Yes, 100%.
All right, now let's talk about this other one here. For the Emperor, a 2-player lane battlers. Let me show you how this one plays, and then we'll review it. Here is For the Emperor set up on the table. At the start of the game, there are just these 7 cards out here representing the 7 lanes that we're fighting over. Empty. This is several turns into the game. Players will, on their turn, take one of the 3 cards they have in hand and play it out into a lane, and then draw up another card so they have 3 in hand. And they will take turns doing this until each player has only 1 card left. There are cards numbered 1 through 9, each of which has different effects as shown on your player aids here, but also written on the bottom of the cards. The idea is that players will put out cards until the one of the lanes here is going to hit, for example, 4 cards in it, at which point the 4 banner comes out, meaning that this lane is filled in. At this point, you then also check to see, do any of the lanes have 3 cards in them? This number here represents the maximum number of cards that can be played into each of these, so both of these lanes are shut down. At this point, one more of these lanes can have up to 3 cards in it. Likely this one, but let's say that on their turn, the turtle player over here is going to play out a card over here, and I could, if I so desired, as the crane player, play a card out here. It would not be strategically sound for me to do that, but I could lock this lane down so that this is the only other one that can have 3 cards in it. Then we continue to check. Well, this one has 2 in it, so I put out the next largest banner, and you're going to do so that each lane is assigned a maximum number of cards. Once that happens is when every player will have played all of their cards but 1 out into the mix, and then you'll simply compare who has the majority of strength in each of those. So let's say that this were the case here at the end of the game. I would have played out this one over here and then over here. So now we would go through and we count up who has control of each of these 7 lanes. Over here, I have control of this one, and I have control of this one. My numbers are larger. My number 1 doubles my 9 over here, so I actually have control of this one. However, this player has this one over here. I take this one, and so therefore the game ends in my victory because I control 4 compared to 3. If there's ever a tie, let's say that this lane was tied, neither player would be awarded that one. and if it came down to a tie between controlling, say, 3 and 3 lanes each, the unplayed card will be revealed, and whoever has the higher number amongst those will be the tiebreaker winner. For the Emperor, of all these all-play tiny box games, has the second fewest cards in it, right? Fairy is the one that has almost nothing to the game.
Yes, agreed.
This one actually might even have fewer cards. Anyway, it feels like a very small game, but on the other hand, it also feels, I think, like a pretty robust game with those 9 powers on those cards as you're kind of battling over those lanes.
Yeah, I don't think it has a lot of depth. I think some does come down to luck, but it is the powers. What I do like about it is the powers. Once you know the powers on the cards, you kind of know what to anticipate coming out. What it doesn't do, and I do appreciate this, this might sound like a knock, but it doesn't have those combos that kind of lose people. This is really straightforward. Once you know what comes out, you have that strategy to build. You know,
yes.
I do enjoy that. I enjoy the straightforward nature of this lane battler.
There's very few cards that combo off of other cards.
Right.
The number one doubles the other card in a slot, or doubles if there's multiple. You probably shouldn't double too many cards. I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's like little strategical nuance and stuff like that, which I like. I like the 5 that allows you to swap out a card, so you're like, oh, they're invested real heavy there, and you go, not that heavy, right?
Right. And
that can lead to some good moments. I think the hook that separates this from the many other lane battlers that we've seen come out over the last few years, if you're not familiar with the term lane battle, I guess, right? Usually it's a head-to-head, like area control, but for 2 players with cards is kind of it, right? I think what separates this one from all the others is that flexibility of not knowing how many cards each lane is limited to at the start of the round.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even like you randomize and set it out. It's player driven during the round.
Right, and that ends up being like, I think you and I talked about the fact it feels like that game you play as a kid where you put all the dots out, you start drawing lines, and you start to try to close out boxes, and you never want to be the one to close a box because you need to get another turn, you keep going around. So you are all towing that line until the banners start to drop. And that's a fun moment, you know? You're like, okay, no, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go there. So your options become more and more limited because you want to avoid that.
Exactly. You never want to be the one to set up your opponent to do something. And so you're sitting there going, ooh, at some point I'm going to have to, or maybe I'll put them in a position where they think it's more favorable for them to do it. And so, like you said, it's not like this game is incredibly deep, but it's robust enough for me that I think it's a nice little addition to a lot of the lane battles that I play and that I enjoy.
I agree. And there's one little thing in the rules with the one about the 3 cards and the 3+ or whatever, how you can't make too many go to 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But besides that, the rules are very straightforward. You teach it, you run through it, you've got it. I enjoy that.
My favorite card in here is the one that allows you to basically prematurely in a round declare one of the lanes to be a higher number.
Yes.
I think that really shakes up that dynamic. Those cards, some games don't come out until later in the game. They're no longer relevant. They're just kind of a weak power card.
Right.
Some games, they come out really early, and you're just sitting there going, I'm going to drop this at a moment that's going to just really confuse my opponent.
Yeah.
I like how that one card, I think how early or late they come out, is going to make the game feel different on each play.
I like that because when moments like that happen, the other person can just go, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never a feel bad game. None of these powers are like make your opponent discard their hand, draw a new card. Nothing like that. You just kind of sit there and go, oh, nice. That was a good play.
Because it's never a combo you didn't see coming.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you give for the
Coming
Emperor?
down on a 7 on this, and I think what I like about it is the fact that it is quick. Lane battlers are like, well, trick takers and all that stuff, in the fact that they were getting such a big genre that a lot of them get really, really complicated.
Yeah.
This one, it's very quick rule-wise. I like sitting there, and you're like, all right, let's do it. And then you go back and forth, different person goes first, all that. And depending on what cards you come, the strategy gets different. I enjoy this a lot, especially because there's a simple rule set in this. So yeah, for the Emperor, I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm coming at a 7 as well. It's not the deepest one of these that I've played, and that's a good thing, right? Not every game has to be a mega game or something like that, or like Mechanism Soup. Oh, you can't believe how many things we threw into a single deck of cards. No, I can believe exactly how many things are on these cards. A number and a simple power, and sometimes that comes together in a nice package. And I think for the Emperor is exactly that. It's what I want out of it.
Yep.
So there you go. A high score of a 7, giving For the Emperor a seal of approval from us here at the Dice Tower. Well, there you go. Thanks for coming out to this review of 2 very different games.
Very different game. And don't get them confused and start ripping these cards up. That will be sad.
Yeah. I mean, the company won't mind. Be like, oh, yeah, you got to buy another 5 copies. Sorry about that.
Here's the money.
All right, folks. Anyway, my name is Chris Yee.
And I'm Joy Evans.
Thanks for coming out to this one.
Sweet. Can't believe we both came in the same. That felt so good.
Samesies.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Bassett.
You want? Do you want me to leave you for a moment? Finish that up?
Please, actually, yeah.
All right. Let me know when you're done.
Leave the lights on.